Welcome to Alexandra TV. I am Alexandra Villarroel Abrego and thank you so much for tuning in. This week's episode is about your reality. So look around you. Look at the place where you live, the people around you, the relationships that you have, your financial situation, and even your career. Everything that is around you is your reality. Everything that you perceive is your reality. And we all have our very own realities. See, your reality is completely different from my reality and even from your friend's reality. And even if you live under the same roof with a lot of people, you each have your own reality. You might think that your reality is created by your environment, by the people around you, and by the circumstances on which you live. But actually, it's not like that. Your reality is created by what is within. See, the reality that you have today is created by your beliefs, by your thoughts, and even by your evolutionary journey. I remember a very long time ago, probably a few years ago, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a spiritual healer. He does a lot of great work with a lot of people, and we were having a conversation about our past relationships. And he asked me about my ex at the time, and he asked me what happened and if I ever heard about him. And I was telling him how weird it was because for about a period of 4 years that we were together, kind of on and off, we would always bump into each other somehow. So let's say we would stop talking for a while. For some reason, somewhere, I would just go, let's say, to the mall, and he was going to be there. And it's not as if we both knew that we were going to be there and we were doing it on purpose. No, it was just really coincidences that would make that happen. I remember once I was in a car, and I was on a boulevard, really, and the car next to me, I looked and he was there. So it was really coincidences that would just happen and that I would have to see him and bump into him. And I was like, it's really weird because now it's been months that I don't hear from him. I don't see him. I know nothing about his life. And I know that he probably doesn't know nothing about my life as well. And he said to me something that I will forever remember. He said, it's because he's no longer part of your reality. And what he meant by that is because since he was no longer in my head, since I was no longer thinking about him, he was no longer manifesting in my reality and in my world, in my outside world. So everything really starts with the inside. What's inside of your mind is what is going to manifest into your world. And this even works with the people, really. So when, I don't know if it ever happened to you, you're thinking about someone and all of a sudden the day after you see them. By coincidence, let's say it's been months or even years that you haven't seen this person, and all of a sudden you're going to the grocery store and they're there. And it's not only about your thoughts and your beliefs, but it's also about your evolutionary journey. I really strongly believe that relationships are simple instruments that we use in our lives to become the greatest versions of ourselves. The relationships that don't last are relationships that were simply there to teach us a little something and then it ends. So when you have someone in your life, maybe a partner with who you've been on and off, or maybe it's the end of the relationship and then all of a sudden, like it was happening to me, you bump into one another randomly at some random place, it's simply because that person has not yet finished teaching you what they were supposed to teach you, or you're stubborn and you don't want to learn the lesson. I always use the example of an abused woman. So there's a woman who is being physically or mentally or economically, whatever, abused, and let's say she keeps on coming back to the same men over and over again, or even maybe she ends the relationship with this man. All of a sudden, a few months later, she meets a new man, and a year later, he happens to be also abusive, whether it's physically or mentally or economically, whatever. This is not because all men are the same or because she has bad luck when it comes to love. No, it's simply because she hasn't learned the lesson that the first relationship, the previous relationship, was meant to teach. So in her evolutionary journey, in the agenda of her evolutionary journey, it is written that she has to learn this in order to grow and to become a better person. So until she learns the lesson, she will not be able to break free from the curse of bad relationships. In order to change your reality, you first have to, of course, change your thoughts, but you also must learn the lesson. So think about your reality today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, look around you. If you are not satisfied with the reality that you have, well, first of all, think about the thoughts that you're constantly thinking of and change them if they're negative. And also start thinking about what lessons have I not yet learned, and start learning them. It's kind of like the student who wants to graduate to another level. First of all, he has the lessons that he has to learn, and then he has to pass the test. If he fails the test, then he has to repeat the lesson. It's as simple as that. You have to understand that the universe is not out there to get you, really. The universe is here to support you throughout your evolutionary journey. The universe wants you to become the best version of yourself, and that's why he has to, once in a while, put some tests here and there that, yes, are hard, but you have to really pass in order to graduate and become a better person. So like I said, I really want you this week to start thinking about what are the aspects of your life that you want to change. What are the parts of your reality and the aspects of your reality that you're not completely satisfied with, and start thinking whether maybe it is thoughts that you have to change, beliefs that you have to change, or if it's lessons that you must learn, and start learning them and passing the tests. So that is it for today. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any comments, if you want to share with me some of the lessons that you have learned lately or that you want to learn, leave a comment down below. I will be so happy to read them. You can also like the video, and of course don't forget to share with all of your friends so they can all, of course, have the reality that they want to have. I will see you next week on Wednesday for another episode of Alexandra TV.